Okay, it's February 16th, 2021. I'm doing an update on these bags. This buoy here, the A5, created a crack in it because I didn't inflate it enough. So it created a crack here and I had to patch it. So far the patch is holding up pretty good. This one, this is the F7. I inflated it all the way up with water and pressure filled it with water. It seems to be holding up really good. Obviously some wrinkling here from the weight of the water. But I believe this bag can support the weight. I can still push in about a like a quarter inch, which is what they say you should be able to do. And there's no gap here for my finger to fit through, so it's not super heavy. Ideally I would like it to be a little bit lighter, and I will talk a little bit more about that in the next later on in this video. This bag has fall last week, and this is the F11, and it's equivalent to a 500-pound heavy bag, but you know, all the weight is concentrated right there on this point. And if you look at the bottom here, I had to flip it around. It broke under the weight because I over pressurized it with water. So I was close to like 600-700 pounds of water. Now the stretch test on this was over 2,000 pounds of force, but you know, from the videos I've seen online, but obviously can't handle that because it broke there. So I've taken out a bunch of water, almost half this thing is full of water, and the rest I've pressurized it with air, and I'll talk more about that. See, so it's still firm and it's still heavy, but the stretch is already done. See, I can stick my finger up in there. It's something I really don't want to be able to do, but it's hindsight, so I can't really fix that. The stretch is already done. It won't rebound back. This buoy is LD3. I'm glad I got the LD3. It's a nice size. You can see some dimpling here. This is also pressure filled with water. So it's probably about 100 pounds. It doesn't really bounce around, but you know, you can still push on it, and it's you know, it's not over pressurized with water, but it is heavier, and this should be able to handle the weight of the water inside. And of course, this little bag here, this is the A0. It's the size of a human head. It probably comes to about here with water. I didn't fill this because you know it's just going to be swinging and people will be slipping punches. Excuse me. All right, some do's, some don'ts with these bags. This up here is fastener you can get at this like Home Depot and stuff. Sometimes it can't slide over this, right? It's just right here, and this itself is may not slide over because it's too narrow. You might be tempted to cut here, this little piece, this lip off, so this can fit. Don't do that. It's better to just grind the metal, because this can handle 3,000 pounds of weight. So grind the metal a little bit so it slides over. Because when you cut that lip, you actually damage the, you can create micro tears, and that eventually with the weight, it can actually cause a rip point. I did it on this. In hindsight, I wish I had not. So just a matter of time, this might eventually fall. And I still had to grind the metal of this for it to slide over. Hopefully it won't, you know, but if not, I'll just have to replace this. And it's not cheap. This one is like, you know, $500 or $600. I can't remember. Look at my other video, it'll tell you what the price is. The ideal way to fill these bags is to fill it up with water, with enough water to make it heavy, so wherever that might be, without creating this stretch right here where you could stick your finger in there. And in this case, where I could really put my finger all the way through. All right, ideally you want it to be more like this one. There's little pressure on this joint, and then as you can see, you fill it with air on top of that, and it should be light enough where this can support the weight of the bag, and it can still be a good functioning bag that feels like hitting flesh. So that's the one thing I would say. You got to use air with it. This is a compressor I use, and the nozzle that I use to pressurize it, and it works great. So keep that in mind. You can hang these bags upside down with a nozzle with the fill at the bottom or at the top. In this case, see here, I had to put the nozzle at the bottom because it broke, so I flipped it, and it seems to be holding pretty good, so either direction is fine. If you have any questions, ask in the comment section down below. Subscribe, turn on the notification bell, and all that good stuff, and I'll keep you all posted. You all have a good day.